Generally what we do at VNCT Global is, when we identify a land, we make sure it's a part or it's a piece of land that's there in an emerging market. It's very, very important that anybody and everybody picks up an investment in an emerging market. When they pick up in an emerging market, what happens is, it's not just the product that looks great, it's the financials of the product that will work it even better. So let me explain it. This is an absolute emerging market, and let me be specific to our Townvillas project. It's absolutely an emerging market thanks to the Vellore bus terminus that's yet to come, the hype that's happening to the L&T bypass road, the development that's happening all around here. If I start saying all of this, what it will mean initially is, has it come? Now if it has come versus if it is going to come, it makes a world of a difference. It makes a world of a difference. Let me explain that. If it has not come, you will get a villa. If it has come, you will get an apartment. If it's in the process of coming, you might get a bigger apartment. If it has already come and it's full blown, you will get a smaller apartment. If you're getting a villa when it's on process, going to come anytime, it will be reachable. I'm not using the word affordable. That's a different segment. It's reachable. But once it has all happened, it becomes beyond reach. Now, beyond reach, villas becoming apartments, bigger apartments becoming smaller apartments. Now they don't just convert like that. I'm saying if that didn't happen, then this would happen. Which means it's all going towards one direction, and that's called property appreciation. Anybody and everybody will have to, any investor, because what we do is, at VNCT Global, we firmly believe every buyer should get their project, their villa, their dream house on time. And they need to get it on time every time. This is thought number one. Thought number two, it must appreciate, it must make financial sense. It will make financial sense only when the market picks up, grows. It also makes financial sense when you put your money in an emerging market, which is where we start, and that's the way we locate properties. I can give you all examples where we've developed at VNCT Global, be it Chennai, be it Madurai or Coimbatore, anywhere. When we have picked up in emerging markets, the property values have skyrocketed. It's been just amazing. Just to give you an out of Coimbatore example, in Madurai, we have developed 300 villas in a place called Madurai. That's a lovely area. The backdrop of that area, if you look at all the 300 villas, there is one fantastic backdrop other than Yanamalai. Now that's a heritage problem, which means nobody can bring down Yanamalai. That remains like that. Appa the Yanamalai eppa neenga paakkanumnalum, in any of the villas you stand, on the road you stand in the terrace, you will see it. Now that's going to remain pristine forever. Which means we chose the place keeping that in mind, and we knew the distance from the city. I'm not talking about here, I'm talking purely there. Distance from the city was like 10 kilometers. When we started, we could sell a villa there for 29 lakhs. Today the villa price, and I'm saying 3 years ago, not 15 years ago, 3 years ago. Today the villa prices which we sold for 29 lakhs are going for 55 lakhs and 60 lakhs. They did nothing, they just bought it. So you need to buy at the right time, or you need to buy with the right developer, and if both works, then it's a fantastic story. That's the way we keep working on land, what we procure. So that's our primary intent, and that's the way we. As a next point, what I would like to share is, let's come to this project. When we look at this project, it's a very cute project. It's not 300 villas, 500 villas. It's like 50 and probably another 15. It's a very pretty development. In this development, in any development for that matter, by anybody, they talk of amenities. Any developer will talk of amenities. Nobody buys a house for the sake of house. They buy the house because they feel there are a lot of amenities available. And they will say amenities will come at the end. Sometimes it sounds practical. But what we do at VNCT is, we develop the amenities first. Because there's a lot of difference between what you see on a brochure to what you see in reality. Brochure is reality varuma. Ennaikku varum? All of these questions are there in the buyer's minds. Understandable. When we are a buyer, we will look like that. Everybody sees it because this is hard-earned money. And if somebody can put value for money, then they think in this process. Therefore, we said the clubhouse will be ready, the park will be ready, the amenities that are to come in the park will be there, and here whatever needs to be a plug and play will become a plug and play. Typically, the clubhouse has come absolutely in help for us today. Inneki na sollikirundha mari in the event we wanted to hold it at the park. We are going to walk to the park. That's a plan. The event was to be held at the park, and then we said let's go with that. Since it's rained, we said let's shift it to the clubhouse. Now we create this on day one. We create it initially. We create it before the final delivery. You get a touch and feel. You'll get to understand what it is. And proof of the pudding is always in eating it. And that's what we have done here. So it so happened that the first event that's happening in this lovely clubhouse is our handing over event. I think there cannot be a better opening to this clubhouse than anything else. Now, as I said, from here, after this cute event is done with, we will walk to the park. And you will be able to see what we have created and what we are maintaining, which is where you are going to be sitting, your wife and children are going to be sitting, your kids are going to be playing, and how safe the whole place is. You will be able to appreciate it, right? And you will get a full feel of how the villas are constructed. That said, let's move on to the next point, and that is with reference to services. Services are something that are so very important, absolutely important. That's not something that's going to meet any of your eyes. None of your eyes it will meet. What do we mean by services? Water, sewer, road, electricity. These are the four main things. I will say these are the four only things in any development. Whether it's a 2-bedroom villa or a 3-bedroom villa or a bungalow, whatever you call it, அதெல்லாம் வந்து முகத்துக்கு அலங்காரம் வச்சுக்கிற மாதிரி தான். அஸ்திவாரம்ன்றது, the heart, whatever you call it, those are what I'm talking about as infrastructure. Water, sewer, roads, electricity. This is so important that it's like you do it once and you should be able to forget it. அதை எப்போ பார்த்தாலும் நோண்டிட்டே இருந்தோம்னா then it's going to be a forever thing. And we at VNCT focus a lot on this infrastructure. And just for your information, the infrastructure for the full development is complete in terms of water, sewer, electricity, and base road work. Road, we build it. We just don't lay it. Because a laid road, after 2, 3, 5 rains, will open up. A built road will stay. Our national highways are built roads. They're not laid. Now, any other road that you see, which goes off after every season, is just laid. That's the difference. That's create and that's the way we create it. And the road has been created. The most difficult part is creating the road. The most simplest part is tar topping the road. And tar topping, you can always do it on a period of 4-5 days. Over. Job's over. Now that's what you will see initially. When it opens up, you start wondering why. You tend to think tar roads open up. No, they don't. If they are built right, they don't open up. And that's what we have done. And we will match it. We will match it in such a way, we will maintain a gradient. So when you drive on the road, it will be perfect drive. When you drive into the house, there will be that little up. Because road la enna mala penjalum and thanni இந்த ரோட்ல இருந்து வெளி ரோட்டுக்கு போகும். வீட்ல உங்களுடைய கார் பார்க்ல தண்ணி விழுந்தாலும் that needs to roll out to the road automatically without you having to push it. That's how we need to plan the gradient. Small thing, just imagine a reverse gradient. Then you will always have water in your car park. That's the most irritating thing. So we focus on these things. The water, the sewer. Sewer is a very critical aspect. We keep testing it and retesting it on the drawing board. Only when we are convinced, we bring it. When we bring it, there is a separate inspection process that happens. These happen only in a villa. Villa development, these are very critical. It's a different ball game altogether. Somebody who's developing apartments cannot develop villas because all of these points are down in the air. Because they don't have to focus on these points when they develop an apartment. It is pura focus when you develop villas. And that's what we work on very consciously. Water, sewer. And we have a hydrodynamic setup here. I don't know how many of you people are aware of it. Hydrodynamic setup is a common point. On the point, water pump pipe. So individually you don't have to switch on motors. It's a common point. Water runs through underground piping and it's pumped into your tank and it comes from there. நிறைய நேரத்துல தண்ணி இல்லைன்னு சொல்லி எல்லாரும் மோட்டர் போடுவோம். தண்ணி வந்துருச்சு அப்படின்னு தெரிஞ்சுக்குவோம். எப்போ டேப் திறக்கும் போது மோட்டர் அமர்த்தணும் அப்படின்றது very few people understand it. தண்ணி வெளியில கொட்டினதுக்கு அப்புறம் தான் மோட்டர் அமர்த்தணும், செக்யூரிட்டியை கூப்பிடு அப்படின்னு சொல்லி போயிட்டு இருக்கோம். இது எல்லா இடத்துலையும் இயல்பா நடக்கிறது. Now imagine you have a lovely community and there's water flowing from somebody's house. It kills the community feel. So we have gone in for this. It's a fantastic thing. And there's a backup generator for that. It's on 24/7. These are the things that we keep adding. These are fantastic value adds for the buyer. And let's say the buyer is using it, it's a great value add. If the buyer is going to rent it, it's an even good value add because what's the rent? Rent is nothing but quality of the development. So that's the way we focus and we move on. And we are so happy that you've made some wise decisions in picking it up here. And we are so grateful for the cooperation that we've had with you and the wonderful support that we have always delivered to you. And at this time, I must say, the team has worked phenomenally well. Phenomenally well. இங்கே ஒரு ஈவென்ட்டுக்கு நம்ம மீட் பண்றோம் and then when you move into the house, you will enjoy the whole house. This was a creation of whatever period, 1.5 years, whatever was the period, that creation, day, night. Whether it was COVID, lockdown, Sundays, 6 in the evening, you shouldn't work. We have reached all of that, keeping ourselves within the law, and working day and night. Because Kandipa, there were a lot of hardships. The supply chain was totally affected, and nobody is to be blamed. That's the situation. For example, or supplier கொடுக்கணும், and the supplier or pick up பண்ணி கொண்டாந்து இங்கே கொடுக்கணும். Supplier had difficulties. So even if the pickup man was ready, the supplier had difficulties to supply. If the supplier was ready, the pickup man had difficulties because he probably didn't have people to drive or deliver. And if that was a problem, then we had people here who would probably run away. All of these things were there, but through and through, I'm sure each one of us have gone through something similar or even bigger in our personal lives and professional lives. But we're all here because we've crossed that over. They've crossed that over with the faith that we can cross it over. And while having done that, I definitely want to give total credit to my team. Part of them who are here, Mr. Ganesh, who's our COO, and then we have Yuvraj, we have Alagar, who's our AGM projects, and Yuvraj is the project head, and we have Santosh. We have so many people here who have played their roles beyond the call of duty to deliver what you will be experiencing for a lifetime. And we really are thankful to them, to all of you, Ganesh, and the full team, and of course, the team that's worked behind the scene, which is at our corporate office, day in and day out. Because for all of them, they only want to see one thing, and that is a smile on the client's face and the satisfaction that they get out of you. To that extent, I would like to say thank you once again. And as I started, I would like to close by saying, at VNCT Global, we firmly believe client is king and quality is everything. And we're so happy for having been associated with each one of you. Nothing is transactional at VNCT Global. Everything is relationship. This is just the beginning of a lovely relationship. Thank you very much.